Hi guys, it's Sadie, Spokane Hot Rod Girl, down at the Rock Ranch studio with Darrin and Marion, the Spokane Hot Rod Association, with Tom and his best friend Bruce in Tom's 1935 window coupe. Can I do it?
Yay! Perfect! Okay, so today at our Rock Ranch studio, we brought in Tom
Yedinak.
Yedinak. Make sure I get that right. I know people probably don't, but and Bruce came in to help him load and unload and be some help here in the studio itself. Tom's 30, it's a 30 Ford. It's one of my favorites in Spokane, and that's another reason why I thought that on the sidewall is just going to shine, and just the nature of the car.
You can't go wrong with a blown Hemi in an old Ford.
Yeah,
You really can't. That's the statement of hot rodding.
It's open headers, and it's just got the nostalgia part, the fat tires, no fenders. It's everything that if I was 30 years younger, that would have been my dream car to build. Building a car like that is pretty much a fantasy.
I was very lucky in that particular car. Yeah, it was a guy named, last name was Burnsworth. And he had the car for sale, and Jade Clare called me up and he says, "Hey Tommy, I got the perfect car for you." And he sent me a couple pictures of it.
Was it here in Spokane, or did you have to travel?
Yes, local in Spokane, just up on the South Hill. I can't remember what street, but it was up around where Jerry lives.
Yep.
And anyway, so we went out. Jade Clare sent me some pictures of it, showing me the car at a gas station. The picture was. And so I looked at it, and the first thing I did is what everybody does, is said, somebody needs to close the door of that car. Yeah. And inherently, that 30 car, an all steel one, which this one is, so it's a 94 5-year-old car right now. Mm-hmm. That's how the doors sit. But anyway, so he had done, this is a funny part of the story, is he found the body itself in Southern California. And he said, well, I want to buy your car down there because it's not the frame, it's just the body of the car itself. And the guy says, okay, here's the amount of money it's going to cost you. And it was pretty high for one single body of a car. And when they went down to actually pick the car up, he says, the other thing I want is the title that comes along with this car. And the guy told him, he says, that's going to cost you another $1,000. So that's what they did.
Just for the title.
Just for the title of it, to show that it was what it is. Yeah. And so he brought it up to Spokane, and Jim Burnsworth had the frame pretty much ready to go for what it was going to be put on. So he did, I would say, 50% of what that car is at this point in time right now. The cool parts about it is he had the all-steel body brought up. It was a TCI frame, so it's a longer frame, as you can see in the pictures, and which was a very stable frame for the car itself. Mm-hmm. The other piece is he had a small block 57 Hemi that wasn't nearly as what it is right now, but that was already sized with the car and married to the transmission.
So no blower, just carbureted or something.
So wasn't there also something that he was like 6'7"?
Oh yeah,
this guy was 6'7". So he had to elongate the frame to get in the car?
Yeah, and that's exactly right. He did it. But you'll see in the car also that there was a saying inside on the dash that said, this car is done in memory of my father, and I can't remember his dad's name, Burnsworth. And when I got the car up there, I says, we're keeping that right in the car the way it is, what it is, because it's a dedication.
I was going to ask about that. It was a cute little touch.
So that's really some of the story of the car itself. And then the rest is, over the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years, did what I did with it to make it the car it is.
Tommy made it his own.
Made it.
How did you make it your own? Did you pick the color? Did you?
No. So
the motor,
back to the color. the color was actually already painted. The thing they hadn't done with that car at all is gone through and cut and buff and do all the stuff that brought the paint to the picture.
Hmm.
So I took it to Mike down at Glamour Auto, and I had him cut and buff that car with the original paint that was on it, and it became then the color that it is, back to the purple candy, but brought all the sticking out portions of the color where he almost had it as it was almost more of a dull purple paint. sitting
So
on
is
the
that
car.
a single stage paint or a two stage?
I do not know that answer. I do not know that answer. I just don't know. And then went through and started to take care of the detail portions of it. So the Hemi was a 354 Hemi, normally aspirated, all that stuff. And I said, I wonder what I want to do with this one. Am I going to keep it or not keep it? So I got on with the guy that runs a place called Hothead Hemis. Bob's, can't remember his last name. But I said, I'm thinking about buying a 392 Hemi for it. And he says, don't do that. He says, don't do that at all, because way back in the day, what we did is we took the 354, which that is, and we actually took the 354 heads off and put them on 392 Hemis because they flowed fuel so much better than the 392 heads. So with that being said, I said, what do you think? And he said, make it a square motor. So the motor right now is a 4.025 bore with a 4-inch stroke, which makes it in essence a 405-inch Hemi.
Mhm.
And I was going to get a crank for it that would give us the 4-inch stroke. And I got a hold of SCAT and so on. I says, can you do this? And they said, yeah, we can do it. But what we want you to do is to send your old crank with it. And I said, well, to me, that doesn't make some sense. So I got with Bob again, and we sent it to Ohio Crank. And they rebuilt the whole radius and everything to make it a 4-inch stroke crank. They did everything perfectly, sent it back with the 4-inch stroke to it, and it turned out really well.
So it didn't have the nitrous, didn't have the blower,
No,
and all that stuff you just.
you know,
added to.
I need to probably back off a little bit. I can't remember. It might have had a smaller old school blower on it. I can't remember that part of it. But then we went to the nice 671 on it, and it ran for a while that way. And I says, you know, probably needs a little more horsepower, and what we can do and what do I need to do. Looked into it, and I go, you know, let's get an 871 for it. And in reality, the measurements of a blower from a 671 to an 871 is only 3/4 of an inch bigger,
Wow.
lengthwise.
And you don't got a hood or anything you got to go under, so.
No.
Everything's
So
So
it
Sadie,
was.
explain to us what a 671 blower is and what an
Oh,
871
goodness.
blower is.
I'm fired. I'm done.
So, but it puts a lot more boost back down in the motor.
So you've got a thing for blowers.
I
horsepower.
do for horsepower.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
most of you that know Tom, you probably know that he's got a 63,
Yeah.
500.
Yes,
Galaxy
Galaxy XL
Galaxy.
500.
That was his dad's car.
That's my
Yeah.
original dad's car, bought
We had-
brand new.
We had talked about which car Tom wanted to bring in, and I was like, I'm a high boy person, but I'm also a roadster person.
Sure.
So I'd have been perfect for any one of those cars to come in, whatever's the easiest to come in. But I am really happy you brought the Roadster in,
Yeah.
because on the white, oh my gosh, it just
Yeah,
looks
it
great.
pops.
It is. I got a funny story about the blower side, because there's a friend of mine that I live out by Green Bluff, and we took it out on the Daymount Spokane Road, and that's when I was going from a 671 to the 871. Had everything, and I left it spooled up or plumbed up the way it is from the overdrive system. So I told this guy, I says, I'm going to get in it, and I want you to strictly look at the blower, how much pressure we're putting into the
Boost
motor.
gauge.
So I said, and that's all I want you to look at.
Yeah, look at the gauge.
So I got on it for probably a block, maybe a block and a half. Then brought it back into the house and put it back into the garage. And I looked at him and I says, okay, how much boost was I putting in it? And he says, about 24 pounds of boost. And I says, we're going to spool this thing back down, because really what I did is I left the spooling exactly the same from the 671 to the 871, and I was running probably 12 pounds of boost with the 671, and the 871 almost doubled that
Wow.
Wow.
in what it actually did to the motor.
Well, yeah, you put a little more wear and tear on the motor. There's so many
Absolutely.
other things. The
So
boost is cool until it breaks.
until it breaks. So I told the guy, I said, okay, we're spooling it back down, and I run constantly 15 pounds of boost into the motor, which is a good average into, not blowing up the motor big time.
So you'll notice today Tom trailered it into the studio, and that's quite the ordeal getting in and out of here.
It's a fun experience
Yeah,
to
it
watch.
took 5 of us
And,
to maneuver it back in here.
and we'll put the video on showing how much cardboard and how much it takes to get 4 of us rolling it in, and Sadie handing us cardboard and different things, and we try to
It's a
tell
true
people that
process.
Yeah.
people have the mindset of either going to a side road or going to a car show, maybe even pull it off to the side and take pictures. And you might get 20 minutes with a photographer, and you're waiting for them to be done, and then they put it back, and then they sit all day for the car show and socialize. The studio, when I try to tell people, Tom, I said, Tom, this is a little bit more involved. It's 2-3 hour process. When
You're
you do the
stuck with this
podcast,
for a long time,
and then
Yeah,
Tom,
but we're going to get
well,
the right shot.
right?
Exactly.
because he was trailering it. Yours is the first trailer that's made it to the studio. He came out 2 days ago and kind of looked around to make sure we could get a trailer,
Sure.
because you got a really long one. And thankfully, everything turned out pretty good.
Yep.
I mean,
Well, and I think that was probably a smart move on our parts, and just coming out, take a look at the situation and how you can or can't get it up there, and we did pretty well getting it up to where we needed.
I was shocked. You already had it halfway up the driveway before I even noticed you were here. So you did amazing backup skills. So
He's done it
I
before.
kudos on that one. But that goes back to people that drive here are a little bit easier to do the studio thing. But if you have a car and you absolutely have to trailer it because of the dirt road or because of whatever, you just got to realize that it's a lot more of a process. But we appreciate you actually taking the time to load it up and get it out here.
I really have a tendency to be real careful about not pissing off the neighbors, which I'm very good friends with,
Yeah.
and so will very rarely start that car, and that's one of the reasons bringing in the hauler, because of that.
Well, but I mean, how much gas mileage would you had if you did want to drive it, and how far could you really drive it with the gas tank? I mean,
So the answer to that puzzle is it's a 15-gallon tank, and it gets 4 miles a gallon.
yeah,
Oh man.
down to the end of the block, turn around, and come home.
Exactly.
Is that straight pump gas or you?
No, that's
No.
avgas.
So what I do is run avgas, as they call it, 100 low lead, and out on the street or at our level, it runs at about 106 octane. And the one thing about that fuel is it never ever goes bad.
Has it ever scared you?
Has the
Driving it?
car ever scared me?
Yeah.
I think the first time,
Well, it was kind of scary, you going out of your trailer and losing your brakes and ended up 3/4 the way down the neighborhood
yeah,
Oh, man.
backwards.
that's a
Oh.
piece.
That was kind of scary.
That's
that's a piece.
terrifying.
Now that you've ran it at the track, what did it run?
So the first time was at the Duke's Drags, and I would say that was 3 to 4 years ago. And I had never run it down a track. I felt fairly comfortable in the car. And I thought, I'm going to run it down, but I don't know how it's going to handle. So in my head, I said, what I'm going to do is only run it down 1,000 foot. And that's what I did. And I totally let out of the throttle and let it coast in through the lights, through the trap itself down there. And at that point, it turned to 10.3 at 114, 15 miles an hour.
Wow.
And so that was letting off on it. And so the next time I did it, I said, I'm going to run it all the way through this time because I felt comfortable with the way it handled. And this is a dumb part. I don't necessarily like running it through the water box to throw all the crap up on the car and stuff like that, so I didn't do
Without
it.
fenders, yeah, you don't want to mess your paint up.
So the nothing to block, and it throws crap everywhere.
Right.
So I bypassed the water box and went in, and I took off hard, and about probably 100, 150 foot, it actually broke loose the 1850 Hoosiers that I run on the back of it. Got out of it, got back into it, hit all the way down to the end, and it turned to 10.4, but I rolled through at 131. So, and that was before the nitrous added to the car, and my big brain thing said, I'm going to make it that 9-second quarter-mile car, which I can't say because it hasn't done it yet.
Tommy hasn't hit the nitrous yet.
Hadn't hit the nitrous or really gave
stayed
the
in it.
car
Yeah.
a chance of somebody that knows how to really drive the car well.
But it goes back to its 1930 car.
Yeah,
It's
what's going to
huge.
break?
You know,
That's
and-
awesome.
Anything over 70 miles an hour is fast for any of those types of cars. Of course, it's modernized and
Yeah.
better brakes and a bigger motor, obviously, and stuff. But it's still a 1930 car.
Still a 1930 car, but the good piece about it is it's really a stable car, and we know what cars weigh of today. You know, I mean, they're like the Hellcat is 4,600 pounds.
Heavy.
Bruce and I took this out to the deal in Colbert,
Waste energy plant
the
or transfer station.
We took it to Spokane.
transfer station,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it weighed in at between. I asked the lady at the deal, I says, how much is it going to cost me to put it on the weight machine? She says, well, if you want the readout, it's going to cost you $5 or something like that. And I said, or she said, well, the other thing I could do is I'll just write it down on a piece of paper for you. And she gave me the piece of paper, and it was under 2,200 pounds.
Wow.
Wow.
So
how much horsepower and 2,200?
I don't know the horsepower because I'm
750 maybe.
I'm guessing because we've not had it on a chassis dyno
Mhm.
to actually give you the amount of it. But I will say that more than likely, the Hellcat is the lowest supercharged car that I have, and it comes in at 717. So
Are you going to keep it forever? If you're out and about and
Don't
somebody
know.
named that perfect price, would you sell it?
um,
Or is this a
no,
keeper?
I don't think I would because I have enough space to keep it.
He doesn't need the money.
This is what I tell my wife. If I pass away, there's pretty good amount of money in the rigs that I have in there, and she could sell them and get money out of them. The only car that I will not sell is my 63 Galaxy 500 XL, and I tell her it's almost back to, Chuck Little, in find somebody with a museum and we'll give that car to them and
Another
won't
car.
charge them anything as long as they promise to take care of the car itself.
I wanted to say, from our standpoint, thank you for always being there, not only from the club standpoint, representing the clubs, but from a friend standpoint that you supported everything we were doing at Spokane Hot Rod. And we've had ups and downs and trials and issues, and we've always worked through them all, and you've always been great. So I
Well,
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate that because it's you added a lot to the puzzle when we did the car shows and stuff like that, which I believe then brought more and more people into the car shows.
Sure.
So
Well, the other thing on top of that is bringing the younger generation into that.
Yeah.
And that's one of our main goals was to introduce the younger people to those hot rods and muscle cars. They don't care about them. They're more into tuner stuff. That's what they grew up with.
well, and the one piece you just brought up right now is for people of my age group, it's really good to see that still going on, because it's now the fathers and the grandfathers
Yeah.
that are teaching the younger guys to appreciate the classics like those and other normal classics, because it's the only thing that's going to keep them alive.
Yeah. Beautiful car though. Like I said, and everybody we bring in here, they see their car at car shows, and they see, they see pictures and stuff like that. But when it's sitting on the white, Scott with the Cobra,
It
He was-
shows its own personality and makes it
Yes.
pop. I
Yeah,
love
it definitely pops. It's
yeah, and
beautiful.
so it's an experience. And when we tell people to come into the studio, we say, we can get pictures and whatever, but coming in and seeing your car in this environment is its own thing.
Well, and I appreciate the heck out of it, because I think this really does that car justice.
Oh,
You know, and especially with Sadie here going through what she does with it, because it
Adds that little special touch to it.
it does, absolutely does. And
so Sadie,
Oh man.
have you ever shot with something like that?
Oh no, it was such an honor. It was so beautiful.
well, I appreciate it, because I think some of the reasons it's almost like you build the studio because that's what you want to see in it, and we all build our cars kind of what we want to see in
Sure.
it and do what it does.
Sadie, I said, Sadie, one, we need somebody that knows that process of, it is a white floor. Sadie knows she can't stand on it with this or that, so I don't have to sit there and guard her, guard the owner,
I learned after my first
Yeah.
footprint. That was bad.
And as time goes on and we get more hot rod girls in here and they start understanding the process and what it takes, it's just, I knew it would be faster if Sadie came in. Sadie knows what's going on.
Yep.
She's a fast poser.
Sure.
She does great modeling stuff, so I know you guys are going to be happy about that. And that's why, Sadie, like I say, I appreciate you coming in today
I appreciate all you
and helping
guys
Brian and
letting
I.
me be here. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has. It was
You-
fun.
I know
You
a lot
I see a
of
dream car. And
See, you added way more to the car than the car itself.
Right.
We complimented each other.
There you go.
I get a kick out of watching people while we're shooting. Wow, I like that.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. I like that. And Sadie coming in excited, wow, that's a
Great
cool
Well,
car.
we were seeing, so in the pictures we were seeing on here, we would see probably 5 or 10 seconds later, but there was probably 3 or 4 shots in, and we're watching you at the same time doing your facial differences on the funny ones, the sad ones, the glamour ones, and all those pieces, and it's fun to then look for them on the screen.
It's fun to watch them pop up.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Shooting Sadie, we'll get probably 5 times more photos because she does know what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's very quick at changing up. She knows when and how to do it. Easy to shoot.
And cross. Cross.
Yeah, let's see, lean on it. Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Now. If you were somebody taking a picture with that camera, how would you pose? Is that Marion? Okay, turn your body toward that camera a little bit. There we go. There we go.
Hi guys, it's Sadie with the Spokane Hot Rod Girls down at the Rock Ranch studio with Darrin and Brian with the Spokane Hot Rod Association. Today we have a 1930s. Oh, yeah, I was doing so good. Oh my gosh. Hi guys, it's Sadie with the Spokane Hot Rod Girls. I'm down at the Rock Ranch studio with Darrin and Brian with the Spokane Hot Rod Association. Today we have Bruce and Tom down with Tom's beautiful 1935 window coupe.
Except he forgot his best friend.
Oh, the best friend.
So that's
Hi guys, this is Sadie, a Spokane Hot Rod Girl down at. Oh. Hi guys, it's Sadie, a Spokane Hot Rod Girl down at the Rock Ranch studio with Darrin and Brian with the Spokane Hot Rod Association with. Oh, I can't do it. Hi guys, it's Sadie, a Spokane Hot Rod Girl. Oh. Hi guys, it's Sadie, a Spokane Hot Rod Girl down at the Rock Ranch studio with Darrin and Brian at the Rock. Hi guys, it's Sadie, Spokane Hot Rod Girl down at the Rock Ranch studio with Darrin and Brian, the Spokane Hot Rod Association, with Tom and his best friend Bruce in Tom's 1935 window coupe. Did I do it?
yay! Perfect.
Okay.
Just to clarify, she's the only one that has to do this stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
I'm good.
Do you want to do it
Oh
for
my
me?
God.
Well, we wouldn't get anybody in the studio if we told
No.
the owner how to do it
No
all.
way.
And the funniest thing about this whole thing is I have to cut it off so quick
Because
because when
I'm
you
like,
stop, you go, "Did I do it? Did I do it?"